What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and the employees over at Blizzard appear to be revolting. Not like ugly. I think everyone that works at Blizzard is a kind, beautiful person. Now, every time I talk about companies, I do want to be very clear. The people that work at these companies, by and large, are awesome people who are fans of the game, who take jobs working for their dream company, and in order to do so, are forced to take lower than average pay and deal with substandard conditions. When I have a problem with what Blizzard does, it's not about anything any individual QA tester, developer, or program lead does. It's with JLM Brack and the brass up at Activision. So Blizzard employees, I've got love for you. I've always loved World of Warcraft. I'm looking forward to Diablo 4. So I just want that to be out there. Now, if it's disgruntled ex-employees you want, it's Jason Schreier that you're going to need to go to, because that's the most popular place for ex-employees to go and complain about work conditions. Now, I found that Jason Schreier's writing over the last year has been extremely repetitive and boring. I have myself, admittedly, grown immune, callous even, to these exposés about crunch and work conditions. I've always held the same position in terms of these employees. Blizzard is an at-will employer. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is forcing you to work there. That doesn't mean that you can't stand up for yourself and try to get some change done. So Slasher puts out, Activision Blizzard employees are revolting over wage disparities at the company. On Friday, employees put together an anonymous spreadsheet to share salaries over notoriously low pay, while CEO Bobby Kotick is making upwards of $30 million a year. Here we go. This is a non-starter argument that my favorite communist on Twitter always, him and Jimquisition. This is such a dumb argument. The CEO makes this. How come I don't make that? It immediately discredits your argument. So please, if you want me to care about the workers and their salaries, please stop comparing it to the board-approved CEO salary, okay? Thank you. I digress. He writes, one longtime Blizzard employee told Bloomberg they are making less money now than they were 10 years ago. And the only significant pay raises were when they leave competitor companies such as Riot Games. One veteran Blizzard employee told Bloomberg News they received a raise of less than 50 cents an hour. So my wife hasn't gotten a raise more than 30 cents an hour in years, which is laughable. But anyway, I always tell her she's free to quit and go work somewhere else. They're making less now than they did almost a decade ago, and because they are working fewer overtime hours than they did back then. Several former Blizzard employees said they only received significant pay increases after leaving for other companies, such as nearby rival Riot Games. Now, you would think that competitive development would lead to more competitive pay, but it hasn't. And I'm going to explain in chapter and verse why this is the case. It's so simple that even a Twitter communist could figure it out, but they refuse to report on it. By the way, this is not just a Blizzard problem. This is industry-wide, other than places at like maybe Valve, which pays decently. You can see some producers and engineers at Blizzard can make well over $100K a year, but others, such as video game testers and customer service reps, are often paid minimum wage or close to it. It's almost as if pay correlates with scarcity of skill. I mean, you see a lot of people, this doesn't seem like anything to be surprised about. Shocker, customer support reps and video game testers, very easy job to fill, don't get paid well. Interview any company outside the gaming industry and they would say the same. Yes, I get paid minimum wage for my customer service job. Now, that isn't to say I don't feel for these people, and we're going to take a look at some of the specifics reported by Jason Schreier. But let me offer this. This is a simple supply and demand problem. Because working on the games that we love is such a coveted job for so many young people in this country and all around the world, really, you have a vast surplus in available staff, and therefore it drives the salary down. It's simple supply and demand. Everybody that grew up in the early 2000s, like I did, we're in high school, I'm sorry, in the early 2000s, not late 90s, early 2000s. You had all these like Full Sail University and all these other ones. Learn video game design, make $1 billion a year designing the games you love. Well, a lot of kids went to schools like that and other schools to learn video game design, only to leave with $150,000 in college debt and a job that pays $14 an hour. It is a huge problem. What education people need to do if they really cared about the youth that they're advising to take these roles is to advise them to specialize. You know, UI, UX, split testing, usability, accessibility. These are the specialties that you've got to try to get. Otherwise, you're just going to get stuck getting hosed. Employees at Blizzard Entertainment, and by the way, please understand that if you're a video game developer or employee and you view my videos, please understand I say this with love. I'm not dogging you for taking a job on a dream. When I was young, working at like Wizards of the Coast sounded like a great job. Dodged a bullet there. But a lot of these companies take advantage of young kids' passion and pay them less and talk about, well, you're going to be working on the next Mortal Kombat. We saw this with NetherRealm. And it sucks. It really does. But ultimately, what people need to do is shift what they're good at, shift the skill that they have, specialize, and maybe work on video games as a hobby. Get a job that pays the bills, and then maybe start some like indie game eventually or something like that. I don't know what the right answer is here, but the simple economic answer is supply and demand. Employees at Blizzard Entertainment, a division of Activision Blizzard, began circulating a spreadsheet on Friday, anonymously sharing salaries and recent pay increases. The latest example of rising tension in the video game industry over wage disparities and executive compensation. Again, I don't care. If you want me to back you, show me that you're getting paid under industry standards or that you have terrible working conditions, and I will go to battle for you. Don't make me fight against executive pay, because that's not something that is unique to the video game industry in any way, shape, or form. Blizzard is based in Irvine, California. By the way, all these companies are based in California, where cost of living is like 3 times what it would be anywhere else. That doesn't help either. Make games including Diablo, World of Warcraft, we all already know. In 2019, an internal survey revealed more than half of Blizzard workers were unhappy with their compensation. You're not human if you're happy with your pay. The company has told staff it would perform a study to ensure fair pay, according to people familiar with the situation. See, now, if you told your employees that, I'm more inclined to side with them. Blizzard implemented the results of that study last month, which led to an outcry in the company's internal Slack messaging board. One employee created a spreadsheet and encouraged staff to share their compensation information. The anonymous document, reviewed by Bloomberg News, contains dozens of purported Blizzard salaries and pay bumps. Most of the raises are below 10%, significantly less than Blizzard employees said they expected following the study. Our goal has always been to ensure we compensate our employees fairly and competitively. Activision Blizzard spokeswoman Jessica Taylor said, "We are constantly reviewing compensation philosophies to better recognize the talent of our highest performers and keep us competitive in the industry. All we aim with the aim of rewarding and investing more in top employees." Well, you made like billions of dollars, right? Here's the other thing. I'm about to make a case that isn't cold-hearted economics. Brace yourself. There are many companies that overcompensate their employees. Starbucks, for example, would be a great one. They allow employees to get health insurance at part-time wages, and they just choose to make a little bit less. But what happens is your employees become way more loyal. Your employees become cheerleaders for your company. Instead of leaking their salaries to Bloomberg, they're telling Bloomberg how great and how happy they are. This is probably not a bad way to go, especially in a PR-driven world like technology and video games. I know it's a difficult concept to understand, but if you could just make a little less, there are benefits to that. That's all I'm saying. Yes, I understand shareholder value, but I'm also saying that there are benefits to keeping your employees happy. There are benefits for recruiting that keeps employees happy. It means you can keep your best employees and not lose them to your competition. Someone's replaceability isn't necessarily the only thing that you should keep in mind when you're looking at salary. Wage disparity has become a hot button issue, and the $150 billion video game industry has calls for unionization grow. That'll never happen, by the way. Stop bothering. A pro-labor group recently slammed Activision Blizzard for the pay of Chief Executive Officer Bobby Kotick. His 2019 compensation was $40 million at the end of the year. I don't care. Nobody cares. If you want to bark up the CEO salary tree, go ahead, but that's not what I'm here for. These are salaries that, again, are negotiated and approved by the board, and their salaries aren't coming out of what they could be paying a video game tester, all right? When they're looking at what they pay video game testers, they're not saying, oh, well, geez, well, we're really strapped because we paid Bobby Kotick $40 million. That's not how real business works, regardless of what guys like Jim Sterling, who will probably never punched a clock in his life, will say, all right? So an internal message reviewed by Bloomberg News, Blizzard employees said they were struggling to make ends meet while watching Activision Blizzard revenue grow year after year. Some producers and engineers at Blizzard can make well over $100K, but others, such as video game testers and customer service reps, are often paid minimum wage. Again, we already addressed that. One veteran Blizzard employee told Bloomberg News they received a raise of less than 50 cents an hour. They were making less now than they did over a decade ago. In 2018, messages on internal Blizzard communication channels reviewed by Bloomberg News, employees talked about money-saving measures they've had to take to remain with the company. One employee wrote that they had to skip meals to pay rent and use the company's free coffee as an appetite suppressant. That's sad. I think that, you know, they couldn't. Another said they would only eat oatmeal and bail on team lunches because they couldn't afford to buy food at the company cafeteria. A third said that their partner stopped talking about having kids because they knew they wouldn't be able to afford it. That contrasted with pictures they saw of more senior Blizzard employees enjoying vacations to Disneyland with their families. Again, I'm not happy, with hearing that. You want people to earn a decent living where they work at a company. And I think that, at risk of sounding like a communist, it's okay to not make all of the money, okay? You can pay your employees a living wage. You can pay your employees enough for them to actually want to come to work. There are benefits to that outside of, that may outweigh the cost of it. Having your employees turn into your recruitment force is worth a ton. Happy employees have better productivity. Happier employees don't have to be replaced every year when they burn out. There's a lot of reasons that Blizzard should be paying more, and I, for one, don't understand why they don't treat their employees better. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.